Well, spirituality in real life, when you're homeless, looks like um, people, places, things, and situations attacking your mind. It looks like, in some cases, witchcraft. Being able, one thing that I learned, let me just sum it up like this. One thing, again, because I said in another video that I was like, hey, I just want to know, how God is. Sorry, this is a dingy shirt, but I guarantee you, I just washed it yesterday. But that's why I don't try and wear white shirts too much. But anyway, because I'm always going to mess them up. But I wanted to know God, but I also wanted to know myself. And in succeeding, right, in getting up and succeeding and not falling the way that my enemies wanted me to fall. Like, there were people who were sitting there waiting for me to, look a certain way. People were mad because I didn't look like I was homeless. People were mad because I was smiling. People were mad because I was singing. People were mad because I still had boundaries, right? Because I think that they believed that because you were homeless, that you had lost all dignity and you should be ashamed of yourself. And if you weren't ashamed of yourself, then they were going to make you ashamed of yourself, right? Which, again, these were people that I didn't know, and people that I didn't want to get to know, I was focused. So what spiritual warfare looks like, people and their stereotypes that you're a prostitute or you're a drug addict or you're an alcoholic. I was none of those things. Spiritual warfare looks like having a woman literally call the cops on me for a year and complain to U-Haul, which is where I was living. I was living out of the U-Haul with my fur babies. And, spiritual warfare while you're on the streets looks like somebody that you lived with that said that they were going to help you, that didn't help you, try and unalive you, right? Spiritual warfare looks like you're doing good. You finally get out of the van. You go into the cockroach-infested motel because at least it's 4 walls, and I can make stone soup out of, that don't even need stuff. I can do it out of an empty pot. So, you know what I mean? Everywhere where I go, I make a home, and that was pissing people off. And people started to feel like they were entitled to me, especially the ones that were attacking me because, well, we're the ones that helped you get here. But no, it's in spite of you. Okay? Because I wasn't supposed to be going through a lot of the stuff that I was going through. It was literally people who decided that they were going to make matters worse for me. And I mean, spiritual warfare looks like attacking my babies. Spiritual warfare looks like having one of my fur grandbabies die because of a witchcraft ritual called, I think it's called the Black Goo spell, is what I learned. And I mean, so, and she died. She was not sick before. And I'm racking my brain. So it attacked me. And even though I cleared it out, I needed to extend the potency of it, So yeah, spiritual warfare while you're homeless looks like people coming to your work and screwing with you. Looks like people projecting and doing rituals on you, because this is what that city had done to people who they could not get to assimilate. Right? So because they wanted me to assimilate and become one of them, and gang stalk and do all that other kind of stuff, and they took it as something. Oh, you're not going to do that, and it's like, no, because why would I do that? So it was a double whammy, right? So spiritual warfare looks like other people's egos, trying to outdo your anonymity, I guess is what spiritual warfare looked like. So while I was living on the streets, I mean, spiritual warfare, Jesus, like there's stories that I could tell you guys that you would not believe, because your brain's not built for that. You've never experienced it. So it's natural for us to go into cognitive dissonance, you know? Spiritual warfare looks like having incels who are in the dark arts, who are obsessed with you and won't leave you alone. You know, spiritual warfare is having some dude, come up to you and act as if you've been talking for all of your lives. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, once you truly break out, there's literally no going back, and you see it for what it is. You know, you see the world, you see people for who they are, not for the mask that they represent, right? Or that they present towards the world, right? When we're dealing with cluster B personalities, everybody has a mask. And when you're dealing with a cluster B personality, they are the global Academy Award winners in everything. You know, in every category, because they perfect it, because they're so paranoid that people like myself are going to see them and then say something, because you deserve to know. You know, that's why I was telling people, it's like, well, just because it's like you're not craving them. These cluster B personalities are parasites, and their interaction is transactional, and it's transactional in a parasitic, symbiotic way, right? So that's what, and everything is a competition for them. So the more you win, the more you're happy, the more it's a competition to try and get you to come back and take, another beating or whatever that you never deserved in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So, spiritual warfare was being my authentic self in an area, in places that it scared the shit out of them to be to have somebody be their authentic self, to have somebody that they couldn't control. All right, thanks.